everybody. So I have just had a very long day trekking around Stockholm with Mark and Chris, who attend DIS Stockholm, which is another sort of option you have with DIS. Copenhagen was the first one, but as of fall 2016, they also got Stockholm on board. So that's really great if you see yourself in Stockholm as opposed to Copenhagen. As of right now, they've only got 3 core courses, but they will be expanding next semester. So check the description box for all of the different core courses offered. I'm going to put some other information down there, but really the best part of this video is this great Q&A I got to do with Mark and Chris today. They basically let me know their perspective on things studying abroad in Sweden instead. So definitely stay tuned for that, starting now. So we'll go ahead and start with some introductions. Just give me your name, home university, and where you're from originally, and then your program at DIS.
Okay, so my name is Chris Felix. My home university is Lafayette College. I'm from Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, and my DIS program is Positive Psychology.
And my name is Mark von Eisenberg. I am from Sparta, New Jersey. My home college is also Lafayette College, and I am doing the Translational Medicine core course here at Stockholm.
So why DIS Stockholm?
Sort of a strange answer, but at the end of the day, we're happy with our situation. Chris and I both applied to DIS Copenhagen, and we were both waitlisted by that program. And then in doing some deliberations with our home university, we were able to actually get the Stockholm program approved and hopped on that bandwagon as soon as possible, because obviously we all want to still study abroad. I'm very happy that that was the decision we wound up making. Sort of fell in our laps in that regard. Yeah.
And just, I guess, going abroad in general, for me personally, I applied to Copenhagen really late just because I didn't know if I wanted to go abroad or not. Back at Lafayette College, I see myself as kind of this social butterfly that, you know, just floats everywhere and is really, you know, I'm very comfortable in a routine of my friend group and, you know, all the things that I'm involved with on campus, and to go, you know, thousands of miles away just to kind of restart and kind of have, like, you know, new friend groups and meet new people and doing new things. That kind of had me, you know, taken aback for a second. So definitely happy coming to Stockholm.
So what have you enjoyed most about your classes so far?
I would definitely say that I enjoy the pace of the classes. All the classes move pretty well, and me personally, my classes being a psych major, so positive psych is my core course, and then I have other courses like psychology of political behavior and human trafficking of the sex trade. And what's so interesting about my classes is they kind of all mesh together, and they kind of all stem under that social psychology type of field. So I see the overlap there that I probably wouldn't see if I picked my classes back home.
That's an interesting point. I think I sort of agree. There's definitely a holistic vibe to all of the 5 classes that I'm taking. In some ways they mesh.
Yeah.
But I think the one thing that stands out for me for classes, maybe it's a Swedish thing in general, maybe it's a European thing, not an American thing, but the stress on collaborative learning. So
actually,
everything's discussion based. They want to know your opinion. You're not just sitting there taking notes with the lecturer.
Yeah.
It's very interactive, and professors are not like there to spill their knowledge. They're there to learn from you as well. And I think that's pretty interesting, something that's very unique that we don't get, or at least I don't get at my school at home.
Let's see. So how's your Swedish, and is it important to learn Swedish here?
I'm going to say that my Swedish is okay.
Yeah.
My pronunciation is pretty good, but the content I guess the quality of the content I have right now can use some work. Going into week 6, I do definitely feel comfortable with the Swedish that I have right now. I can get around, I can order things, and, you know, I feel very comfortable in that regard. I would personally say that if you are in Sweden, you should know Swedish. I think it does help. I mean, me personally, I feel this just feeling of home, like this hominess feeling, just because everybody around, when you go to a coffee shop or a retail store or whatever it may be, everybody speaks English. And I feel like if you know, the citizens of Sweden can, you know, make that extra mile and, you know, make you feel at home and speak English with you, speak your native language or whatever it may be, then learning Swedish is just, you know, something we can do give back, I guess.
I would say that my Swedish is okay as well. We finally, I feel like we just recently have broached the gap from being able to just sort of read some stuff to now we can interpret, you know, like some posters and stuff that you see on the subway and actually read a phrase and understand it and laugh at it or something like that. And I think it's absolutely vital to at least try to learn the language of the country you're in. It's just, it makes sense to me. I know there's a few others here that don't really care as much for learning Swedish, and that's fine. I mean, you can get along pretty well just speaking English, but maybe, yeah, it's an intrinsic thing. Sort of, you owe it, like what you were just saying. You owe it to the Swedes to be able to speak a little Swedish.
Okay, so next, what is your housing and commute situation like?
So I guess I can speak to this one.
Yeah.
Mark and I both live at Öggelitsgatan 66, so Öggelitsgatan 26.
Yeah, there you go.
I love my housing personally. We have apartment style housing. So as soon as we go into what we call a flat here, you walk in, there's a kitchen area.
But it's also like, sorry, it's the residential community?
Yes, sorry.
Okay, no, that's okay, yeah.
The RC, the residence community, is definitely a solid option. I mean, this program is very small, so there's 2 RCs, an LLC, and other than that, it's just the homestays.
Yep.
We are in a very, very convenient location in the city, and that's sort of happenstance. Our commute is 20 minutes. And we're in Södermalm. I mean, it's a nice area, it's a hip area. People would die to live here, so like I feel blessed that we actually have this place.
What is the Swedish winter like?
I don't know if we have the best answer to that. It's been
It's a weird year.
It's been unseasonably mild,
Yeah.
and I was expecting to come to Sweden and be inundated in snow the whole time. I don't know, maybe it's a stereotype, but we're up in the north, right? And there's no snow. We've had a few snowy days. When we got here, it was pretty icy and treacherous. Yeah, the winter doesn't stop anybody though. People are still biking, speeding down the sidewalks, and joggers are jogging and whatnot. Got to be wary of the ice. But that's about it.
The only thing about the winter that, you know, is just getting to me is just how cold it is. Really, I mean, every day, you know, Sweden tries to reject my winter jacket, so.
Do you do any of like the winter activities that, I guess winter sports I should say, that are special to Sweden?
Actually, you know, great question, because we just had our core course week last week, and I went to Gothenburg or Göteborg, and the sport that we did was curling. And Sweden is very well known for curling, and the kind of take on that being, you know, coming from positive psychology, is getting on a collaborative team and finding what we call to be flow. So just kind of like getting into the zone and really getting immersed into the culture of that Sweden has to offer.
My winter activity actually stems from core course week as well. There's nothing I've been doing here all the time. So yeah, we went cross-country skiing, and that was amazing. I've downhill skied a bunch, but I had never cross-country skied, so it's completely different. Very cool. Definitely a workout too.
Right.
And I see, believe it or not, I do see people on the subway, on the Tunnelbanan, who have their cross-country skis with them, as if they commuted from their, you know, neighboring little suburb here via cross-country skis. I mean, there's no snow right now, but I've seen it. Like, they're in Tisdagsrollen, they're walking around. So that seems to be a winter activity that's common. Everybody does that.
That's cool.
Yeah.
I didn't realize people commute doing that. That's
Exactly.
interesting.
Yeah.
Okay, so what recommendations about life in Stockholm can you provide for future students?
We could talk about some monetary recommendations.
That's good.
So, I mean, city life is city life. Doesn't matter if you're in the US or Europe, it's expensive. And that was something that, I mean, obviously I expected it. Your abroad semester is gonna potentially get a little pricey, but look into meal specials, dinner specials. A lot of restaurants have on, you know, Wednesday night or Friday night between X hours. You can get a good amount of food with a drink, a beer, whatever, and that is a cheaper alternative than, you know, going at prime dinner time or like.
Sure.
Yeah.
Just to kind of jump on that point, I mean, it is expensive in Sweden, but it is very manageable as well. You know, understand what you're buying and understand the things that you are putting your money into, and you'll realize that your abroad experience will never be the same as anyone else's abroad experience. So if you're the type of person that loves to travel every weekend and go to different places, then you will be one of the people that spend a little bit more money than those who kind of set themselves to a strict budget. I guess my personal recommendation would just be to just be abroad. Me personally, I do get homesick in the sense that I'm FaceTiming or, trying to figure out what's going on at home or back at school, whatever it may be. But just put the computer down or walk away from your phone for a couple of hours or whatever it may be and just be abroad. Just go out, do something. Somebody says, hey, do you want to go here? Just whatever it may be. You might be tired, exhausted, just say yes. Just go with your friends, and whether it's at the Ericsson Globe that Mark did a couple of days ago, or getting a visiting host family, or just getting immersed into the Swedish culture. So
yeah,
it's a very good
that
point.
is a good, yeah,
definitely just be here.
I feel like we actually touched upon that earlier today when we were walking around.
Yeah.
We all have the tendency of just being in tunnel vision. That was the word you.
Yeah,
That was the word you used. And it's definitely important, especially in a setting like this. We only have a few months to experience something like as unique as this is. It's important to take the blinders off and just sort of, walk around for the sake of walking around.
Yeah.
With the phone away.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It goes a long way in terms of generating memories for the rest of your life.
That's very true.
Yeah.
Last question. What surprised you the most coming here? What did you not expect at all?
I didn't expect, maybe this is just Sweden or the Scandinavian culture, I guess. I didn't expect that coming to Europe, I guess we're in Europe technically, would be this easy. And I mean that in the sense that the Swedes in particular they all know English really well. And they're very intertwined, well maybe not fiscally or something along those lines, but all young Swedes are very in loop with what's going on in the US.
Yeah.
Whether it's political, styles, TV shows. So many people come up and ask me about like what Netflix shows to watch and HBO shows. Wish I had good answers for them.
Yeah.
But like, despite us not being in America, there's a lot of American undertone. I thought it would be a little bit more foreign.
Same.
And I'm not saying it in a bad way. It is comforting in many regards. It was definitely interesting though.
Yeah.
I thought I would there'd be a lot more like sign language when I was communicating with people, but it's just,
it's so easy.
if I botch my Swedish, they're like, du talar engelska, and then that's just, we're talking in fluent English then.
Yeah.
So that was surprising to me.
I guess what surprised me the most is just how fast it goes.
Yeah.
I guess it's very trivial to think like that, but I mean the saying is things that you enjoy move very quickly, but you come in and you try to get into a semi-routine. I say semi just because you don't want to fall into a strict routine where you have to where it's just you don't want to rely on automaticity. So definitely just how fast it goes. I mean, back at school we would be going through midterms next week, and here it's just like, okay, it's week 6, we're just gonna keep like pushing through, before we know it, it's gonna be March, and then
Right.
like there's so many things to look forward to in terms of abroad. So I definitely say, just like I said before, just enjoy it.
Carpe diem.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah.
Well, thank you guys so much.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
And that's it for now. So I will see you guys in the next one. Bye.
Bye.